coffee? I know you're a coffee aficionado.
Yeah, drinking it now.
Absolutely. So we got a let's grind on this one. Uh, what what coffee would these 5 Street Fighter characters drink and why? And the characters here are Ryu, Ken, Chun-Li, Blanca, and Zangief. What do you think Ken would drink? What kind of coffee do you think Ken would drink?
Ken is an espresso drinker, I think. I think Ken learned his business tactics from Italians. I think he wakes up in the morning, he goes to a bar, like an espresso bar, and he
Mhm.
says, I'll have the usual. They give him his espresso. And not like us in the West. We don't, we sip our espressos and we sip our cappuccinos. We want that drink to last as long as possible. He's like, shot. Like the Italians, they show up at the bar. They don't even sit down. They just drink the espresso and then they walk straight out and go to work. That's Ken. He's gonna go and build his empire. Except I don't know the story in Street Fighter 6 is like he's being chased by the FBI or something. He's lost his empire. The wife took the
Yes.
kid. I don't even know.
Yeah, he's homeless. I don't know.
I think it has actually has something to do with him being accused of terrorism somehow.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I believe this.
I can see it.
I believe that's it
I can
because
see it.
I believe Luke's father, ironically, I don't know why using those two words together. Luke's dad had died in a bombing of a shopping mall, and I think Ken Masters happened to be there. So he somehow got blamed. Look, I could be completely wrong. I believe I'm
Listen,
quoting this from memory, but
have you seen his new like kick stance? That is terrorism, all right? These are justified charges.
playing against Ken in the beta was ridiculous, man. He was doing 70% damage off of nothing. I swear to God.
I'm excited. I think I like his character design. I think it's something fresh, and I think he's been in the Ryu limelight for too long. He's basically wearing, well, actually, Street Fighter 5 he had a different outfit,
Yeah.
but he's still kind of like, it's still based on that karate style gi, and I know that they trained together, but it's like Ryu. We think of Ryu as the one who wears the traditional. It's not. It's I don't know the
Gi?
name of the type of karate style that they do, but it's
Shotokan.
Shotokan. I know that's like I feel like that's the Ryu thing. And now Ken has his own thing. He's got the trench coat and he's like homeless. Okay,
Yeah, that's his
part-
thing. Homeless.
that's his thing.
Hobo Ken.
But part two to the answer for what coffee would Ken drink. I reckon that now that he's lost the empire, his the master's empire, he's homeless. He's on the street, and he's become an alcoholic. So he's drinking
damn.
he's drinking like whiskey. Like what is it? It's like whiskey
Like,
coffees.
yeah.
He's drinking Bailey's coffees. He's got
He's
like
drinking
Bailey's.
Bailey's.
He's become like I don't want to become like toxic
Oh, no.
toxic masculinity, but it's like kind of I want to say it's a girly drink, but we can't say that anymore, can we? Like that was a
Dare
normal
you.
thing to say.
How dare you?
When I was growing up, we used to say that quite normally, like, "Oh, it's a girly drink." You don't say that anymore,
Yeah.
do you?
If there's fruit involved in your
Appletini,
drink,
please.
it's a girly
Oh,
drink.
sorry.
I went to a bar. Went to a bar once, and no, it wasn't a bar. It was like a sports. Yeah, it was a sports bar, whatever. And I think I asked the waitress. I was like, if I put a lemon in my, no, an orange in my beer, is that a girly drink? She's like, yes, yes, it is. So apparently, if you put fruit in your drink, it is a girly drink. There you go. That's one of the.
Alright.
That's gospel.
I only have girly drinks. Unlucky.
Honestly,
Alright.
I had a friend from Indonesia who would only strictly drink like things that were considered girly drinks, and he'd be like, well, why are you drinking those? Is because they taste good, and
Yeah,
that's all that
exactly.
matters, really. At the end of the day, who gives a damn, right?
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
I used to love the girly drinks. I had Malibu and Coke was a good one.
Yeah, there you go.
Quite sweet. But I think I don't. It had nothing to do with only wanting to drink manly drinks. But I think eventually, like you, I don't know. The reason you're drinking alcohol changes as well. You're kind of like, I want a drink that I can sip slowly
Mm-hmm.
that intoxicates me, but is bearable. I think if I had a Malibu and Coke, after the first one, I'd be like, I don't want another one. I only wanted one
Yeah.
small sweet drink.
You wanna like get people want to get buzzed, but they don't want to get drunk. It's like
Right.
it's sort of like they want to relax. They don't, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You
You
want a
wouldn't drink
drink
like
that
10
doesn't
Malibu
give
Cokes
you a
in a day.
hangover.
Sorry?
You want a drink that doesn't give you a massive hangover.
Right, right.
Yeah, that too, of
Yeah.
course. So what kind of now Chun-Li? What kind of drink do you think
Oh
Chun-Li
yeah.
would drink?
Chun-Li. Chun-Li drinks drip coffee. Absolutely.
Yeah, right?
Drip
Because
coffee?
yeah, so she's obviously very in touch with her roots in Chinese culture. She wears the outfit, she fights on the China stage, but I think she's really into Chinese tea culture. Have you ever had tea in China the way that they do it there? They have they have these amazing tables that you can like buy on Amazon. They're like $100. And the whole table has a draining system built into it. So you put the cups on, you boil the water all on this like amazing table. Then they pour the water into the cups and they like cleanse the cups with the boiling water. And then they pour that boiling water onto the table so it just goes off the edges like an infinity pool.
Hmm.
And then like the whole process is important. It's like the preparation, the cleansing, then the tea itself, and they've also selected specific teas. I think if Chun-Li drank coffee, she would want an aspect of she would want a drink that has an aspect of ritualism to it. Yeah, I need to pour this drip coffee at a certain speed, otherwise too much carbon dioxide gets caught beneath the granules or whatever. It's funny because I mean, to an extent, does any of this stuff make any difference? But at the same time, like believing that it makes a difference is what gives you joy from making the drink at all.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's funny because caffeine actually doesn't really affect me. I've been really experimenting with decaf and drinking caffeine at night, and I think it doesn't actually keep me awake. If anything, I feel really sleepy after coffee.
I
Me
think
too, actually.
I
You what,
think
sorry?
it depends on your tolerance. Maybe if you're like I'm
I've
a
drank too much.
I think I
I'm
personally
immune.
I really do. Like I think it depends on your tolerance.
Oh no.
Great.
I personally I'm an anxious person. So if I drink coffee, I get anxious.
Okay, I can
It's
see that.
so like it doesn't so it really depends on you, I think. Like for me, I can't
Mm,
really drink a whole lot of caffeine. It messes
mm,
with me. Uh
mm.
what
I
about
could drink a
Blanca?
coffee and a soda and then just go to sleep.
Yeah, I can't do that anymore, man. I actually literally time my caffeine at least like 8 to 6 hours from when I'm going to bed. I'm like, I can have one energy drink and that's it.
Interesting.
So I'm
I
like,
couldn't
okay.
live like that.
I'm like, okay. So from here, it's about I
Not
don't
to
know.
be.
I've got like 4 to 6 hours. Okay, I can sleep. But if I drink caffeine like 2 to 3 hours before I go to bed, I wait. I can fall asleep, but I will wake up because of caffeine.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah, we
that's
could.
me though.
This is another topic we could. I could speak for days just talking about coffee. I'm not because I know a lot about coffee, but just because I love coffee enough that I would be happy to talk about it for days. But anyway, your question about sorry, who did you say next is Blanca?
Oh, yeah. What do you think Blanca would drink?
Blanca.
Blanca. I think Blanca is a French press guy, just
Yeah?
because
Yeah.
I don't
Really?
know. He strikes me as like, I mean, this guy is spinning around. He's got electric bolts coming out of him. He needs something that is like thick and dense. You know, when you have drip coffee, it's actually drip coffee is actually kind of watery compared to like coffees that you get in Starbucks and all that. But um, but filter coffee, you can let it sit there for as long as you like, and it just gets thicker and thicker and thicker. I think he'd be a. Also, what is Blanca's origin, by the way? Is it
He,
Brazil?
yes, he's from Brazil.
Yeah, Brazil.
Can't remember which part, whether it was Central America or South America. I used to have these friends who are really into their.
Coffee.
I think it was drip coffee that they used to drink. Um, I think that's also how I learned how to make ice. I didn't realize that iced coffee is normal coffee poured onto ice. Like apparently
Yeah.
I think maybe in Mexico or something. They're like, yeah, you pour the hot coffee onto the ice and it melts the ice as it goes into the cup, and that's how it becomes ice. I was like, oh my goodness, didn't even know these things.
Magic.
It's magic. I've got to learn more about this.
This iced coffee they speak of.
It's delicious.
Yeah, I imagine that.
I dig it.
I imagine the process of going from like hot to immediately cold changes it like chemically as well. So, might need to get into iced coffee.
So, see, to me, I
There you
would
go.
think that Blanca would drink like just straight energy drinks or something, like out of a can, like coffee. You know.
He doesn't.
He just
He
has
doesn't-
like those Starbucks shots, basically.
Yeah.
Thing
He's going
is,
hard.
Blanca is loud and beastly, but I don't think he's as caffeinated and like buzzed as like Kage. I think Kage is like the buzzed. He's like angry. I'm gonna drink this energy drink and this coffee, and I'm gonna go and find Ryu now.
I'm
He-
gonna beat the
he-
crap out of him.
Yeah, I
He
don't know what I'm
drinks
gonna
coffee
do when
to
I
live.
get there. I'm just gonna disappear when I arrive.
Wait.
I think that's what happened. His whole story mode was like,
Yeah.
he finally has this fight with Ryu, and then he just kind of vanishes. He's just like, "You don't believe in me? No."
He's a jobber in his own story.
I mean, it's not as bad as Nikali, but it's pretty close.
Oh yeah, I didn't even play Nikali's story. They forgot about him, didn't they? He tattooed V. He tattooed Street Fighter 5 on his face, and then they made Rashid the main character. Poor guy.
Yeah.
I feel so bad for him.
Well, maybe if they didn't make Kali so freaking awful, more people would have played him.
I'm, you know,
Talk about a wasted character design. Damn, man.
he's
He is
such
a
a
cool-
cool. He's so cool, man. Nikali is
So freaking
one of the coolest
cool.
characters, and it seemed
An
like
install? Like, come on.
Yeah.
it seemed like he was going to be such an important character, and then once you play the story, he just shows up like 2 or 3 times, and then he just gets beat up, and he's like, "I'm gone now, goodbye," and then he disappears into the ethos forever.
That
Some real like
aspect of
tuxedo
Street Fighter-
mask energy.
What did you just tuxedo?
Tuxedo mask energy.
Oh yeah.
My work here is done.
Exactly.
But you didn't do anything.
Goodbye, Sailor Moon. Just throws a flower at people.
See, you
That-
had the power to beat her all along.
He has
Oh my God, I love that.
Tuxedo
that
Mask
thing.
has the power of pep talks. That's his thing.
That was a great job. Don't worry about it.
I mean, he's the world's greatest cheerleader. I think if hot women showed up while I was playing at a tournament, I'm sure I would perform better. I would play better for sure.
Isn't that kind of like, well, part of his thing is like he could be a main character. He could be.
He
But
just
he-
chooses not to.
I don't know what his purpose is. Like, what does he do? Like, I don't
Love
understand.
interest.
He's the love interest.
Love interest. That's his job.
Yep. He,
and the-
he becomes an actual character later. Don't worry about it. All
Yeah,
right.
don't worry about it.
Does he fight? Does he actually
Well, I
fight
think
things?
yes. Actually, he does fight. Yes.
Yeah, not to get into like the deep lore of Sailor Moon, but they all lived on the moon before they were Earthlings, and then they lost their memory. Okay, so I think technically he's like fulfilling his role as to protect the newly born Sailor Moon, make sure that she actually becomes the Moon Princess or whatever.
I just didn't know how he
Queen
went from
American.
amazing like armor with a sword to
Yeah, I remember the armor. That was
That-
cool.
Yeah.
He clearly doesn't use it.
Doesn't-
no.
That's just for pep talks. I just want to make Sailor
Yeah.
Moon feel really motivated.
It's
I'm gonna wear this
true.
armor.
My whole thing is
I'd be motivated.
sorry, man. And my whole thing is like, does he remember like does he know Sailor Moon is Sailor Moon? Because you gotta think
I
it's
can't
literally
remember.
Superman style of like disguise that Sailor Moon is wearing.
Oh, you mean just because of the disguise?
Yeah.
I can't remember.
It's
Contestants,
like
do
a
you-
fragmented memories kind of thing that he has going on. They don't like
Oh, 'cause
actually
yeah, he
get their
trans-
proper memories back until like a
Right.
fair bit later.
Right. Oh, but there's also the fact that maybe he becomes Tuxedo Mask and he doesn't realize that he's becoming. He wakes up in bed.
Yeah.
He's like, "Why am I wearing a suit?"
A lot of
And there's roses everywhere. What the hell?
Man, I must have had a great night.
a lot of it's kind of crazy how much Sailor Moon revolves around reincarnation and
Huh.
the whole trope of Usagi. Doesn't Usagi mean like rabbit I believe
Yep,
her name.
Yep.
So and
Yeah.
she lives on the moon, which is another sort of like I guess
Japanese
rabbits.
tradition.
Yeah.
They think that
Um,
rabbits live on the moon.
Indeed.
Oh
They
man.
should.
So I suppose lastly, what kind of coffee does Zangief drink?
Oh, I haven't thought about this. Zangief, what does he drink? He drink flat white. I think he drinks a flat white or
Flat white.
cortado. One of those really. It's one of these brand new drinks that was invented in like Hampstead in like rural Britain or something. So it's not even really a.
I've never heard of this.
Okay,
Care to
so
explain
if
a little?
you, depending on the balance of how much milk you put into the drink, if you put like 70% milk, it becomes a
Yeah.
cappuccino. If it's like half and half, it's like a cortado or something. And if you have like a certain percentage, it's a flat white. I don't really know what the percentages are, but I imagine that Zangief shows up and he's like terrifying just by existing. He's just so big. You're like, you're not even gonna fit through the door, man. Just what are you doing here? But he finds a way. He just sort of like bashes the whole door down, and then he sits down and has like the most eloquent drink that you can imagine. And a flat white doesn't come in a big
Pinky out.
saucer like a cappuccino. It comes in like quite a dainty cup. That's what
Oh.
I think he sits down with his dainty little cup. He's just like, "How was your day?" He's kind of. He's
Quite
like
proper.
yeah, he's very proper, and this is the sort of person you want to relax and chill out with after a day of work because yeah,
Indeed.
He let off all his steam in the fight.
he's let
it's
off all
fine.
in the match. Yeah.
Wait, what's isn't there like a Russian coffee specifically though as well?
Oh, yeah, he is into his Russian culture. Apparently, his hobby is Cossack dancing. I mean, I
That is
know
one
there's
of
like
them.
yeah, there's that one scene from Street Fighter 2 when he's doing the dance with the politicians or something, but or maybe the Secret Service. I don't know who they are.
I
But
believe
yeah, it's true that he's.
I believe it's like the Russian president or
Is it?
yeah, at the time. I can't remember his name, but it's before Putin that the guy had
Right.
sort of run the country. It was a
Yeah,
lookalike.
my history, my history is a bit hazy on that one. It's true. There's probably a Russian coffee, and it would make sense for him to drink it. But I think that he's just one of those people that he's like women's best friend. Like women love to just have him over for tea. They wouldn't have us from the rest of the FGC.
No.
They'd be like, you guys,
No.
can you guys look? We're having girls' night, and we're just gonna chill out with our tea, and we're gonna natter about various gossipy things. And Zangief's like all in. He's like, oh, did you hear what happened to Ken? Oh my goodness, it turns out he's actually a bit of a crazy person. Like, oh my
He's a
God.
terrorist. What? That's insane.
When did this? Sorry, I must sound like an absolute sexist. I keep making all these weird, random sexist remarks on this. I'm not. I'm honestly not. I'm honestly not. I swear.
I swear, guys. I
I
swear.
swear I'm not. I'm sorry, I'm not.
So you heard it here first. NihongoGamer sex is confirmed.
Completely sexist.
Yeah.